Aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel for an interview. Haven't done one of these for a while. Sitting down today with my new friend Alex, who's a subscriber, who I met last week, and he's got his own channel, and we will give you a plug for that at the end, and I will put a link down in the bottom so you can all get over there and subscribe and find out more about this incredibly interesting chap. So well then, Alex, thanks for sitting down with us.
No worries.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, mate. Where did you come from? Where did it all start?
Oh, well, originally come from Scotland and lived there for 42 years, and then emigrated to New Zealand, and I've been in New Zealand for about 25 years now. Okay, well, let's start again. We'll go back a little bit. Whereabouts in Scotland? I say Scotland's a big country, but it's not. But it's it's big enough, yeah.
Whereabouts in Scotland?
I was born in Kirkcaldy, in a place called Fife. My father was in the RAF, so I think when I was about a month old, we moved down to England. So I was brought up in England for the first 7 years of my life, and then I think they moved back up to Scotland after that, which is the reason I don't have a really broad Scottish accent, because obviously it's kind of intermingled with English.
You're very well spoken, but you do have an accent.
If you say so, Simon. But most people don't think they've got an accent, right?
Oh no, you're definitely Scottish.
Yeah.
But it's clear, it's precise. It's not like me, you don't mumble.
You're all right, mate.
So what age were you when you moved back up to Scotland?
7.
7, okay. Yeah. And then you were there for a long period of time?
Yeah, so from 7 up until I emigrated to New Zealand, so 7 to 42 basically. Okay,
did you go to university or anything like that?
No, I was never one for the academics, wasn't really interested, so failed my O-level maths twice.
Well, at least you had a second go.
Yeah, and because I couldn't see the reason for it. I mean, I was a smart kid, but if I couldn't see the application in my life, then I just wasn't interested. And later on, when I did some pilot training, when I became a commercial pilot, then obviously they were doing a lot of maths there, and I just sucked it up and took it in because I could see the application there, right?
Right, now this is going to be an interesting interview because I had no idea you were a commercial pilot. There you go. Yeah. I know nothing about you.
Not anymore, but I was.
So you left school. What was your first job?
Barrow boy in the paper mill, delivering paper bags from one end of the mill where they manufactured and printed them to the wrapping station.
How long did you do that for?
A month.
I was going to ask if you enjoyed it, but I think I got the answer already.
Oh my gosh, no, it was mind-numbingly boring.
Okay, but you lasted a month. What after that?
After that, I got taken on one of those work experience jobs. You probably remember them way back in the day.
Yeah, YTS.
Yeah, the YTS government
youth training scheme.
Yeah. So you got £20 a week, and some company would take you on for 6 months, and usually after that they would dump you, and then they would get someone else for 6 months.
Some
right?
Slave labour.
Yeah, that was it. It was basically slave labour, cheap labour for them. But the guy that was with me, and it was a refrigeration company, he was an ex-Navy guy, and he took a liking to me, and he actually showed me what he was doing, and I was a fast learner, and I picked it up real quick. So they managed to get me on a secondary youth training scheme with the same company, which was kind of unheard of, but they managed to swing it. So I was there for a whole year. And I ended up at that point probably about 17, 18 years old, and I was given a van and some tools and sent around to do some of the more simple jobs.
So what are you actually doing?
So maintenance of refrigeration systems, so
okay.
Whether that be a domestic fridge, freezer, or some of the commercial stuff for children's and whatnot.
So you're like a freezer engineer or an apprentice freezer?
Yeah.
Okay, and why did that only last a year then? Did they let you go then, or did you move on to...
No, after that the company went bust.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the same guy that took a liking to me, he got a job elsewhere, and he got me onto another youth training scheme.
Wow, 3 in a row.
So 3 in a row, but with a different company with that one. And by then I was quite good at it. I didn't do any formal apprenticeship or anything, but I picked things up quickly, so I knew how to do the job. And so then after that I went self-employed. So I'd be 18 years old and I went self-employed, started my own business, and going around places, handing out the card and telling people, you know, I could do their refrigeration for them.
And you enjoying that, were you?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it for a period of time. And then I had I suppose, what you call a dark period of my life at that, where I started getting involved with the wrong crowd and started smoking the wacky backy and taking some illicit substances, as some of us do. And the result of that was that the business failed.
Okay.
So
it happens.
Yeah.
We all go through stages. So what did you do after that then?
Crikey. Yeah, so I got a job with another company doing their. He was a butcher, so they had a lot of chill rooms and freezers and whatnot. So he took me on as his engineer, and they also did sales of second-hand freezers and fridges and whatnot. So I used to do all of that for him. But he wasn't a very good employer, and I wasn't particularly a very good employee because I kept on writing off his vehicles.
On purpose or just
no, just doing stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
I was a 19-year-old at that time, right? So we were just doing mad stuff like trying to jump the vans over hills and things like that and wrecking them. I mean, it was quite outrageous, you know.
But you're very young to start your own business then.
Yeah, I mean, young and immature, right? So it was doomed to fail from the start, I guess, but it gave me a lot of experience on how to deal with customers and what works and what doesn't work, right?
Life skills.
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
Ah, crikey, after that. Yeah, so I moved from the place I lived in Kirkcaldy in Fife at that time, and I moved up to a place called Stonehaven to chase this girl that I fancied, that moved up there.
As we do.
Yeah, as we do. And while I was up there, I got involved with this crowd who had a shop doing whiteware appliances, you know, cookers, fridges, freezers, and I did all his fridges and his freezers, fixing them up, all the scrap ones, and getting them working again. And he sold them in his shop, so I worked for him for a while. I'm
not sure if your plans are to work again in the Philippines, but you would do very well fixing fridges and freezers over here because they're breaking all the time. Every time you go in a bar, the freezer's broken.
No, I'm here to retire, mate. I ain't doing nothing like that.
So how long in total were you doing that kind of work before you moved into like the flying?
Yeah, so I had another business for a little while after that, and so that developed into a shop where I sold all that kind of stuff, and it did really well. And so I had a car and one of those, you know, the little gatehouses to a country estate. So I had one of those types of houses, and I had a van and I had a boat, and yeah, it was doing really, really well. But like I say, because of my involvement in illicit substances, I was kind of spiraling a little bit out of control on the inside. Like I said to you the other day, I was doing great on the outside, but on the inside not so good. Yeah, having problems. So I was projecting that into the future because all the other guys that were in that kind of scene, if you like, there was some that were older than me, in their 40s, and I could see the state of their lives, right? So I'm kind of thinking, wow, you know, I don't want to go there. I don't want to end up there.
Well, it's good you had that foresight.
Yeah, I had the foresight of knowing where it was going, but I didn't have the ability to stop it. Because when you're in, I wouldn't say I was a drug addict, but you know, you can become psychologically addicted to stuff, right? You know, like guys that go down the pub, they might not necessarily be alcoholics, but they're drinking every night because their mates are there. The whole social scene of what they're involved in is revolving around alcohol. So then they can potentially become alcoholics as a result of that. And so for me, that was the scene I was in. All my mates, everything I did was involved in that.
Again, I do apologise. We have to keep stopping because there are some very loud people of a certain nationality making a hell of a lot of noise at the bar. But apologise for that, guys, because we're just getting to the interesting part. Yeah, I can't do anything about the background noise. It's a bar. Other than apologise. So right, you were spiralling out of control, and
yeah. So I think the bit we got to was where I was basically talking to God, right, and asking about Jesus and whether that was something that was real. So basically, I know that a lot of guys, when they're talking about God and Jesus and things like that, they'll say, well, if God is real, then let him, prove it. And so it's kind of like challenging God, and I don't think they get very far with that. Whereas I was actually really, really genuine about my wish to find out the truth. So I said, look, if you're real, if Jesus is real, then can you demonstrate that to me? Because I really, really need that. I need that power and that ability to change my life for the better. And what happened to me was, I can only describe it as like a very slow process, like honey being poured out from the top of my head. But it was actually a sensation of pure love. So it was just started at the top of my head, came down real slow, and just completely went right the way through the whole of my body to the bottom of my feet. And I was bathed in this intense, unconditional love, something that I'd never felt before, ever. And it's really quite undescribable. And if it ever does happen to you, and I know it's happened to many people, it's undeniable, and you can definitely know that you've actually met with God, you've met the presence of God. And that was the day that I became born again. And it started a process in my life, because it is a process. You don't become brand new with everything that you do from day one. But it was a process of change for the better in my life. And within a year of that happening, I was driving down the road, and I saw this aeroplane fly over my head, and it was landing. It was a little light aeroplane, and it was landing at an airfield very close to where I lived. And just something inside me said, go to the airfield and have a look at that aeroplane, which I did. I'd always been interested in airplanes. My dad was in the RAF, and I'd always built model airplanes, so I always had an innate interest in flying an aircraft. So anyway, I drove to the airfield, and the guy was just taxiing in, and I asked him about the airplane, and he told me, they had a group there that owned the airplane, and that if you had your pilot's license, then you could join the group, and you could fly it anytime you wanted, and just paid for the cost of the maintenance and the fuel. I thought, wow, that's great, I'd love to do that. And so then I embarked on a journey of using the money that I was earning from my business then to learn to fly.
Wow. That's, so you did it all self-taught? You had to pay for the lessons and everything?
Absolutely, yeah.
How much does that cost?
Crikey. Well, back then, I think it was £80 an hour.
Wow.
But it's about 200 an hour now.
Right. Yeah, but that's still a lot of money if if you're paying for it yourself.
Yeah, so that would be back in the late 80s. Like,
and how many hours do you need to do?
You had to do a minimum of 40 hours flight training. But because I could only afford an hour a week, you were kind of taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, so it was taking a bit longer. So I think I finished the course in about 50 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. But that just gave you what they call a private pilot's license, and just allowed you to take friends up.
And can you get work with that?
No, you can't.
Okay, right.
No. So what happened after that was I got a job as a flight instructor, so I did the required amount of hours. I think it was at that time about 100 hours, maybe 150 hours, can't remember exactly, which I had to pay for all on my own. But I managed to get in that group, so my flight was cheaper. So it wasn't 80 an hour, I think it was about 45 an hour. So it was cheaper for me to build the hours. And once I had the requisite hours, I became a flight instructor.
Right.
And then it was free.
And you enjoyed that?
Oh, I loved it.
The money good?
No.
Really?
No, because what you were doing with the instruction was you're actually building your hours towards the commercial license.
Okay.
So the commercial license, you needed 700 hours. Right. So basically, you were getting the flying for free to build towards 700 hours to get your commercial license. So they gave you a little bit of money, which was enough to live on, and buy a few beers and whatnot. Yeah.
So it takes a lot of work to get there, but after the 700 hours, and you achieved. How long did that take you?
A year and a half of training other people to fly.
That's not bad. There's lots of jobs you'd have to train longer than that, and you wouldn't be working. You'd have to go to like night school or back to university or whatever.
Yeah, well, you had to do that as well. So basically, on my days off, which was like on a Sunday and a Monday, then I was hitting the books. So I had this correspondence course, which I managed to purloin from someone else that had been through it. Everything was done on the cheap, right? And so I was just going through their notes and the course that they had been through to learn all the subject matter. And back then it was really nuts, because you had something like, I think it was about 12 different subjects that you had to learn, and it was a 70% pass mark, and it was 2 days worth of exams, and you had to pass every single one of them over the course of 2 days examinations at a 70% minimum pass rate. And if you failed up to 3, you got what was called a partial pass, and you got to sit those 3 again. If you failed any more than 3, you had to sit them all again.
Right.
So they're pretty draconian. It's not like that now. You get to sit one exam at a time.
And do they take note of that? I mean, is it like a degree? You get a 2-1 or a 2-2, or they don't know? As long as you've passed it, they won't know how many times you've sat it, or do they know?
Oh yeah, of course they keep all those records. Yeah.
Now, when you go for job interviews, I'm talking about, do they?
No,
So it's not levels of license.
Yeah,
as long as you got your license.
Yeah, as long as you got the requirement,
Yeah.
then that's it. Yeah.
So just out of interest, because I was in the Air Force as well.
Yeah.
The pilots that come out of that, do they have to do that as well, or can they just go straight in, or do they have to retrain and things?
I believe that if you're coming out of the Air Force, then you just have to do the required flight tests.
Right.
To get your commercial license, and civilian commercial license.
Right.
So it's just a matter of just getting a type rating and doing the test. And most of the guys, obviously, they were very well experienced, so it didn't take much for them to get that.
Right. Presumably, once you got your commercial license, you're competing with ex-forces pilots now for the jobs, aren't you? I mean, I would have thought that would be.
Yeah, but back in the day, there was this huge influx of the need for pilots,
Right.
and so it was really just simply a matter of paying the money, doing the course, and you'd be taken up on a job immediately. It was that easy back then.
So I'm going to make an assumption now, because you said back in the day. That would suggest it's changed. Is it not so easy now, or?
I've been out of it for a long time,
Okay.
so I really don't know exactly how it is these days, but I certainly know that the money is certainly not as good as it was, and I think with the COVID and all the rest of it, I think it's probably not as easy as it was either to get a job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what was your first job? I mean, did you, once you were commercially qualified, were you flying like, private hire planes, like private jets now, or did you work for an airline?
No, I'd considered that, but I really didn't like it. At the same time that I was doing my flying, my brother was also doing his flying. But he came out of university, so he was taken up on a British Airways flight course. It was all free for him. I had to pay, it was all free for him. And so he went on a course and ended up flying for British Airways, and did the 737, 757, 767 ETOPS, and then went on to the 747, the jumbo.
Wow. So a family of pilots.
Yeah, my sister got a private license as well.
So really, it would not be an exaggeration to say you're a family of pilots, which is very impressive. I almost said pirates then.
Well, well, probably a family of pirates too, but there you go.
I'm saying nothing. So what was your flying career though? I mean, you talked about your brother and your sister. What did you go on to do?
So, having watched what my brother was doing, the airlines never really appealed to me, and I really enjoyed imparting knowledge and wisdom to other people that were learning to fly, and I really got a kick out of that. And some of them ended up going on to join the airlines and have very successful careers. So we did a fair bit of that, and we did some military contracts. I was never in the military, but there were some times where we were called upon by the military to do certain things for them.
And you enjoyed that?
Oh, that was the best part.
That was that.
Yeah.
That's when you realised you'd made the right decision.
We got to fly low. Let's put it that way. Got to fly low.
I hear you. So when did you go to New Zealand then? Because you said New Zealand was the next big step.
Yeah. So well, I suppose the next big step was getting married. So
You got married.
I didn't get married till I was 40. So I got married, and then about a year after getting married, we decided we were going to go to well, Australia was where we were headed because my sister lived in Australia, but it was going to take 18 months to process the visa. And we had friends who had recently moved to New Zealand, and they were kind of, back then it was, oh, if you're British, just come. We'll sort out the paperwork after you get here.
Halcyon days.
Yeah.
But it's not like that now.
Changed days now, that's for sure, yeah. So yeah, I arrived and I got a job immediately doing whiteware, and I got introduced to doing air conditioning, heat pumps, that kind of thing. And a year later that company went bust, and it was part of my visa that I had to work for that company. So we kept it all hush hush, never said anything to anybody, and I slowly went self-employed again, and just didn't mention that I was no longer working for that company. And back then they didn't really do that kind of level of check-in. It was just kind of, you know, as long as you're from the UK, you're kind of almost guaranteed. So I got my New Zealand citizenship, I've got a New Zealand passport, and
presumably you still think of yourself as Scottish.
oh, yeah, well, put it this way, if there was a football match with Scotland and New Zealand, I would be rooting for the Scotch, right?
And that would probably be one of the only games you'd probably favour us to win.
Not a rugby game, put it.
But was it a culture shock going to New Zealand?
No, not even slightly. It's the same culture. There's an indigenous race there called Maori.
Yeah, I know.
And they're kind of a little bit anti-white. There's definitely a culture, a little undercurrent, if you like, a bit like the Scottish and the English, right? Where it was kind of.
It's understandable in New Zealand.
So yeah, same kind of thing. It very rarely boils over into anything real, but that undercurrent is always there.
And how long were you in New Zealand?
I've been there for nearly 25 years.
So you say it's not a culture shock, but I mean, I've got a couple of New Zealand friends over here.
Yeah.
I mean, the population of New Zealand, what's the population of New Zealand?
It's up to 5 million now.
Well, exactly, so it must be a culture shock in the sense that it's so much quieter, the towns are so much smaller. I mean, it's just, everything is,
Well,
you know, different.
I came from a small town anyway.
Okay.
So moving into, it was what would be considered a larger town in New Zealand, so it was kind of the same, really. And the town that I came to had a church, and my friends went to that church, so I got involved in that group. So I kind of had a ready-made family when I get into New Zealand. So yeah, it was fine.
What church do born-again Christians go to?
Oh, well, there's several denominations. I mean,
Oh, I thought the whole point of born again was you didn't have a denomination. You were kind of like you're born again, but in your own kind of Christianity. I've obviously got that wrong.
no, there are denominations, and then there's also what they call non-denominational.
Oh, yeah.
So you can get non-denominational groups as well. So there's all kinds.
And is there music involved?
Yeah.
That I'll be honest with you now. That's my stereotype. The old guitar comes out.
Yeah, well, I played the guitar and the drums, and I did a bit of mixing as well. So. Yeah, I got quite heavily involved in that side of things.
Well, I'm not a religious man, and it's great that you are.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember talking to a friend on a course once many years ago, and he was Catholic, same as me. But I mean, we're not. I said I'm laxed in the biggest possible sense.
Yeah.
And he said the thing I can't get my head around about born again Christians. So why they're so bloody happy? They've got their guitars out and they're singing and they're jumping around. What's the story there?
Yeah, well, that's a good observation.
Yeah, no, if you want to be, if I was going to go that route, I think I'd have to go born again, or I might join the old Baptists because I like the singing.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Baptists are born again.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's there must be something in it then. I think I'd be more okay with that than I would be.
Well, it was actually
dancing with snakes all over the Pentecostal.
I know that was a bit weird, right? But it was actually Jesus himself that coined that phrase, "born again."
Yes.
Said unless you're born again of the flesh and the water, then you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. So, yeah.
So, I'm not going to ask you how old you are. You might want to tell me, but I don't ask people that question.
I'm told that I look anywhere between 45 and 50 by most Filipinos, who may
Is that before they ask to borrow money, or?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They've got a very good reason for buttering me up, right? But I'm actually 65.
Well, you're looking good for it, mate, and I'm not just saying
thanks.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get struck by a bolt of lightning and tell you to buy the song. Now, you do look good.
Yeah.
don't know what the biblical reference now we got on the gun. So what's brought you to the Philippines? What is your situation now? Are you living in the Philippines, or what are you?
Yeah, so obviously I got divorced. I've been divorced about 15 years now, and like so many of us, right, during COVID, bored sitting on the couch, you start looking at weird stuff on YouTube, and I got onto, I think it was Geo in the Philippines and Old Dogs channel, and I just started watching them just non-stop. And I thought, wow, you know, what a great opportunity to restart your life, right? Because you can literally reinvent yourself. Because I think when you're involved where you used to live, in your old country, you are brought up in a certain way, and you have mates that expect you to act in a certain way. So you have this persona that's built up, and it might not be something that you even want to be anymore, but you're kind of expected to be that. So it's difficult to escape that. So if you come to somewhere like the Philippines where nobody knows you, you can reinvent yourself.
Mate, there are so many people to do. There are the artist island, or certainly we get here, it's full of people who worked in meat factories their whole lives, and they come over here now. They were naval seals. There's a lot of that goes on.
A lot of
here.
Navy SEALs around, yeah.
But yeah, it's a fresh start. What your baggage is left behind. It's a fresh start. Yeah.
I think obviously you're going to carry a certain amount of who you were psychologically with you, and I think again that's a bit of a process if you want to embark on that process of changing yourself. Some people don't, but it's an opportunity for change. Put it that way, right?
It is an opportunity to change, definitely. And was it the Philippines? That was you tried Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam or anywhere else, or was it the Philippines?
Yeah, I have travelled around a bit over the years, just mostly for holidays, right? And I did like Thailand, but even the Thais that speak English, you can hardly understand what they bloody well say, right? So I think the Philippines was a good fit for me for three reasons. Number one is the English language, right? So they have the English language, and they have the religion, which is mostly predominantly Catholic. They do have born again here, and so the morality structure is similar. And they have the age gap, which means that guys my age and your age, we don't need to date, beached whales.
It's not a Christian thing to say.
Or cottage.
It's an honest thing to say.
Cottage cheese people. And what was the third one? The visa. The visa. Yeah. So it's so easy to get here, and you can basically live 3 years here on a not a student visa, what they call it, a visitor visa, and then you leave the country for a day or a week or whatever, and you can come back and start again.
Yes, indeed you can, as I just have.
Yeah.
So how long have you actually been here?
So on this particular occasion, I've just retired. I retired in May, and so I came over in May. Right. So I've been here since then. So that's been 3.5 months, something like that.
How many times have you been to the Philippines?
This is my 4th visit.
What's the longest you've stayed?
This occasion, because previously, obviously, I was still working, had my business,
right,
and so I was coming over just for 2 months at a time.
Okay.
And doing quite a lot of intense travel during that time, just to try and find out where I liked, what I didn't like, and so I kind of got it down to just a few places that I really like in the Philippines.
Well, that's great you said that, because my next question is going to be, what are those places?
Yeah.
And why?
Right. So the first place I came to, obviously, like most people, was Cebu, and I stayed in the IT park areas, and then Mactan, New Town, which are bubbles, right? Not the real Philippines. So I enjoyed staying there. It's a good soft landing, but eventually you want to get out of those places and explore. So I did working from north to south. I did Iloilo, I did Dumaguete, I did Siquijor, obviously Cebu. I went to Butuan, Cabadbaran, and then headed down to Davao and Gensan. And I think my favourites really, it's kind of down to 2 places now. is Davao. And I think Davao is the kind of place you'll either love it or you'll hate it, and probably the same as Dumaguete, right? Because that's the other place that I really enjoy.
It's a Marmite place, Dumaguete, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll either love it or you won't like it. But those two places, they're my favourites.
So it's Davao or Dumaguete, is it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So what is it you like about Davao? And what is it you don't like about Davao?
So Davao, everything is kind of spread out. So it costs you a fortune in taxis to go anywhere. But the thing that I do like about it is, and I guess it's kind of who you meet and where you live in a city as to whether you're going to enjoy it or not, right? Because if you land in a bad area and you're just meeting people that are, lowlifes, you're not going to enjoy that, and so you'll have a bad impression of a city. So you got to take that into account as well. So I was staying in a place called Ecoland, and the condo was called Verdun Park. And it's kind of like it's almost like a 5-star resort, small mini resort. So you've got all your towers there, but centre to the towers, they've got these 3 swimming pools, and they've got this foyer area which is huge, and it's all open air. And there's a cafe in there, and you've got all these soft seats and tables, so you can just sit there and have a coffee and just sit there all day long and just watch people coming and going, and talk to people, make friends, and it's just so easy to make friends there. And so actually I stayed in Davao 2 months, and come here after that, made a lot of friends there. And the same for Dumaguete. Dumaguete is more compact, so it's easier to get places, it's cheaper to travel around, and you've also got the expat community here, which makes it easier again to make friends, depending on the type of people that you meet, right? It's got to be the right people, otherwise you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, you've got to be selective.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what you like about Doom, the fact that it's like compact and it's
yeah.
It actually is. I'm going to do it in a quiz question probably next week, but it's actually the most densely populated city in Dumaguete. Not in the grand scale, in Negros, I can't speak.
Yeah.
So like 33,000 to a square kilometre compared to something like 4,000 in Bacolod.
Right.
Extraordinary how it is compared to, because it's a small place, but
yeah.
Grand scale of the Philippines is not that densely populated, but anyway, that surprised me when I read that. But
yeah, it's a surprise, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you can check it out.
And of course, with it being dense like that, then you're going to have all those traffic issues.
Yeah, but what I like about Dumaguete is that it is, different driving a car. What I love about it is the fact that I can go anywhere within 5 minutes. You can, once you're in the city, if you want to go there, you want to go there.
Yeah.
Went to Cebu, wasn't so much the price of the taxis. I found the taxis quite cheap. It was the fact that it takes half an hour to get here, then half an hour to get there, 40 minutes to get there. I don't want to live like that. It's
same.
It's no good for me. So, what are your long-term plans now then?
I would like, the issue that I have, and I don't know any other country that's like this. So New Zealand is a bit like the North Korea of the South Pacific, in that you have to return back to New Zealand every 6 months and stay there for 6 months and 1 day to maintain your pension. Otherwise, they'll chop it off.
Australia's like that.
Is it the same?
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that it's not the same for all Australians. Here's a bit of information on the channel. It doesn't claim to be an information channel, because I know a lot of Australians who have to go back, but I had mates like Ray who don't have to. And apparently, if you have done your full 65 years or whatever qualifying, then you don't have to come back.
Right.
But if you have left before you reach that age and gone in and out, missed years I presume, then you have to go back every 6 months, which I think is ridiculous.
It is.
But so you're in that boat, are you? You have to.
It's crazy because we've worked for it, we've paid for it, and they treat it like a benefit.
I don't understand the logic. I do not understand the logic behind it, because in the UK, the average person when they retire, within 6 years, they have taken out more than they ever contributed in terms of health system and pension, etc. So you would think these countries would think, right, if they're in the Philippines, they're not using the healthcare, they're not doing the rest of it, they're not costing us this, let them go and send their money. Don't quite understand the logic of making them come back, and but there you go, they must look at it a different way, because it is what it is. Fortunately, you don't have that in the UK. So basically, you can't plan to stay here long unless you write the pension off and think, right, I don't need it. You've got to have to keep going back.
Well, if I tell them that I'm emigrating, what they'll do is they'll seal it at that point, so there's no top-ups. and so I'm staying here 10 years. I'll still be getting the same pension as I did when I left. And the other issue is that because I've worked half of my life in the UK and half my life in New Zealand, because they have an agreement with the UK, then right now I get New Zealand takes the UK pension and tops it up to that amount until the UK pension kicks in. But if I leave and tell them I'm emigrating, then what they do is they chop my pension in half and say, well, if you want your UK pension, you can go and apply for it yourself. Very sour grapes.
So it's a bit of a difficult situation.
Yeah.
So you're basically going to go back in.
I have to come back and forward every 6 months. So 6 months New Zealand, 6 months here.
Right. I've got a few questions about that and some possible solutions, but I won't talk about them on camera. So the most important part of the interview. What's your YouTube channel called?
It's now called, because it's had a few names, it's now called Alex Touring Asia.
Alex Touring. Good God, the problems we've had with noise today. It's unbelievable. The last thing you're doing sideways, I think.
They're cheering for the channel.
They're cheering for the channel. They're cheering for the channel. I think we're going to knock this on the head now. So Alex touring in the Philippines.
No, touring Asia.
Sorry, Alex touring Asia. Okay,
Yeah.
Right, Alex touring Asia. That's a good title because it keeps your options open.
Yeah.
And what kind of channel is it? What's your content?
It's kind of travel information, where to go, how to do it, people that I meet, and how I interact with them.
So predominantly you call it an information channel with a bit of other stuff like kind of thrown in there. So that's what
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I will put a link in the bottom of the video description. Get yourselves over there, subscribe to his channel. He's a nice chap. I'm sure it's fantastic content. I've watched a couple of the videos and he's got some good equipment. He's a good guy and I will watch more now I know him going forward. Well, thanks for your time, Alex.
No worries.
It's been great sitting down talking to you. You're a very interesting fella. For those who watched the video, I hope you've been able to make exception for the noise because it has been a good interview. It's out of my control. Can't do it. Been a noisy day here.
It's the Philippines.
It's more fun. Look at the way the interview is more fun because it's done in the Philippines. Check out Alex's channel. Thanks for sitting down, Alex. The dogs are thanking us too. If you haven't subscribed, you're fantastic. If you did, if you like the video, smash the like button. Whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.